You do not have anxiety. You feel anxious. It's incredibly important to differentiate both of these things as true. On one hand, we have our identity, which we get to choose. But on the other, we have passive emotions. Anxiety, just like anger, just like joy, just like happiness, are all passive emotions. There is no emotion that you're going to feel for the entirety of your life. That's why they're constantly passive. They constantly come, they constantly go. So, in order to not limit ourselves, it's important to not say that your anxiety and your person are one and the same. This is my experience with therapy, everything that I've learned in the past 5 years from different therapists. This is not medical advice, this is just meant for entertainment, and I hope that you gain some clarity about some tools that you can use too. This is Maisa by Natalia, and welcome to my channel. I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm using meditation as the overall umbrella term, but within this, we're going to go into a lot of techniques of actual forms of meditation. The first one is finding and thinking about your calm place. Your calm place is anything that brings you joy, also feelings of safety, anything that just makes you super happy. Try to think of one very intentional calm place. Of course, you can have multiple, but just have one that's always in your back pocket that you can always refer back to. For me, my calm place is a waterfall. It's this beautiful waterfall I went to years ago with my family. Ever since, I have just loved going back to this place. It's in the mountains and it's so beautiful. It's calming. There's like no one around. It's like this hidden little random gem that we came across one time. And this calming place has meant a lot to me. It's literally the place I went to on the day that my grandmother passed away. I constantly visit it because it just brings me so much joy. I can't even explain it. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel grounded. So you're going to think about a calm place, somewhere that you can just come back to, some kind of memory, right? And you're going to bring that into your meditation. And you're going to just bring up all of those feelings. And within that, use your five senses also to go deeper into that visualization. So maybe it's, what does the water smell like? What can I feel on my feet? Can I taste anything? Can I smell anything? Go through the five senses, and that's a wonderful form of meditation. The next one, super easy to do, is a body scan. As my therapist says, most people live from here upward, just in their minds. But I feel like the real intent and purpose of what we need to get back to is living here below. Building this relationship, this mind-body connection. I honestly did not know much about this until my newest therapist, and it's completely transformed the way that I see my relation, my being, my soul, my spirit, but also all of the energy that flows because of my physical body as well. It's awesome. So in your body scan, again, you're in this sense of meditation, and you're going to go through from the top of your head all the way to the bottom of your toes. And you're just going to go through and just scan your entire body. See what's feeling. See what it's feeling. A lot of times we don't even know what we're feeling until we move. Has it ever happened to you that you're working and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I'm actually pretty thirsty. I'm going to get up and I'm going to get water. And all of a sudden you realize, I really have to go to the bathroom. So you go to the bathroom. But constantly we have these distractions in our lives that keep us from feeling our intuitive bodies. And this takes practice to do too. So with your body scan, you're going to move through it at the same time. If there's any ache, any pain, physical pain, or even emotional, something that you're feeling, you're going to tap into what part of my body am I feeling it? Maybe it's my gut. My gut feels really tied up like a knot. So as you're doing your body scan, you're going to get to your gut and you're going to give it extra attention, okay? So you're going to bring in certainty and clarity into this gut feeling. And you're going to just leave your scan there until it clears it out, okay? The more that you're purposefully putting deep breaths and intention into a certain part of your body, it's like magnetic cleaning and cleansing energy. And then you can move on to the rest of your body scan. The light stream meditation is extremely similar to the body scan, except you're visualizing. And again, when you're in meditation, you can either have your eyes closed or you can also have a lowered gaze. At the same time, people always recommend that you have something grounded and stable beneath you so you can actually feel your feet on the floor. So with the light stream meditation, you're going to visualize that there's this bright light coming up all over you. And it's just same as a body scan, going to go through every little bit of your body, and you're just going to scan, scan, scan. Something I really like too is if your feet are grounded in this activity, you can also feel the earth pulling all of the negative energy that you have down into the floor, down into earth. This can be outside, but it also can be inside. It doesn't matter as long as your feet are grounded. And you can visualize any yuckiness, any dirtiness, any like yucky feelings just going out through your feet as much as this light coming in and just cleansing you from within. When it comes to mindfulness, it's putting emphasis on feeling your emotions, at the same time not identifying that you are your emotion. The way that my therapist helped me see this a little bit more clearly was she was saying, okay, let's say you're really angry, right? And normally I would say, I'm really angry, rather than the real correct term, which is I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling angry right now. That doesn't make me an overall angry person. So think about anger being this close to your head, this close, right? So you're not seeing that there's a separation between you and the anger. You just think that at this length, we're one and the same. As soon as you're able to bring the anger out here, again, you're still acknowledging that the emotion is there, but all of a sudden it's distant from you. You're not one and the same with that emotion. So it's something that you're experiencing and feeling, but it's not you and your identity of who you are as a person. This brings so much power to you. All of a sudden you're able to understand using mindfulness that you are separate. You are separate from the emotion. Tapping into your guides. This changed everything for me. Find people that maybe have passed away in your life that were very important to you, and use their spirit guides to help you and guide you with the wisdom that they now carry being on the other side. So for me, like I mentioned, my grandmother passed away. I have such an intuitive, emotional side and feeling with her. I feel her presence a lot. And whenever I've done bigger forms of therapy like EMDR or even EFT tapping or stuff like that, I always end up either consciously or unconsciously bringing her into my narrative because she was someone I always felt safe with. So let's say I'm working through an EMDR emotion where I felt very, very unsafe as a child. I'm going to bring in an adult that I really relied on, that always being around her, I felt safe. And that was my grandmother. And now she can be a part of that experience and guide me with her wisdom. Same with this, I also had a younger cousin that passed away a few years ago, and I call on him all of the time. I have this very spiritual connection with him, and it's beautiful to see whenever I asked him a question, whenever I'm going through a hard time, even EMDR therapy, he's shown up for me. And I'll just ask him for guidance and wisdom, and I can just hear exactly what he would tell me as though he were next to me. It's a beautiful way to connect with people and realize, oh my goodness, there is something so much bigger than just our physical bodies. Our physical bodies are like 1% of the equation. So much is going on beneath the surface that is just an energetic pull. So if you're able to bring in these guides that make you feel safe, it is a wonderful tool in therapy and in meditation. Next is for spirals. Now, when I mean spiral, I mean you're going through an emotion and you're feeling it extremely heavy in this point. So not like meditation where, okay, you can kind of meditate at any time. I use the spiral techniques more for I need something to help me like right now. Like right now, something is going very deeply, something is really coming up in my emotions. So the first one I use for this is the corkscrew. This is one of the first ones I learned with my therapist, corkscrew. So again, you can like figuratively imagine it. For me, I like to almost physically imagine it. It kind of helps me. But pretty much what I do is I take, let's say like a bowl, like I envision a bowl, and I put in the emotion I'm feeling. So let's say I'm like really anxious about something. So I'll put it in the bowl. And all of a sudden I'm using like a wooden spoon, again, like not actually, but just like pretending like I'm using it. And I'm going to be stirring it. Okay, how does this feel? Oh, this feels heavy, heavy, heavy. And all of a sudden, then you're going to switch the way in which you are spinning your hand. So if I was going clockwise, now I'm going to go counterclockwise and I'm going to go this way, this way. So you're going to do that and it's going to feel tough, when you've been going one way and you're forcing yourself to now go the other way. But this just brings you so into the present moment that all of a sudden you're not thinking about the spiral that's going up in your mind and the anxious feelings that you're feeling. All of a sudden you're just focused on pushing this back, going the other way, going the other way, going the other way. And I don't know what the magic is in this, but it really helps. Again, it gives you like something to do and focus on rather than just living again up here. Butterfly tapping is kind of similar to what I would say EFT is. So butterfly tapping is using meridian points in your body to kind of bring in more presence to that physical part. So for butterfly tap, you're literally going to be like tapping your shoulders back and forth for, let's say, I don't know, 30 seconds, and then take a couple seconds to break, and then again, and do maybe like 4 rounds of that. Similar EFT tapping, if you don't know, is emotional freedom technique. That's what it's called, and it's based in Chinese medicine, which uses different meridian points in your body. There are certain meridian points that we call them in your body that can access feelings a lot faster. It can process through them a lot faster. So you can look into EFT tapping. Also, you can just do this butterfly tapping. And again, I think it just forces you into this point. It really brings together this mind-body connection where you're tapping into physical sensations in your body and then processing through what your mind has to say as well. For the container, this was one I was a little scared to try until I saw what my therapist was actually saying by it, and I was like, yes, I need to give this a try. So the container is where you're pretty much going to put your emotions at a time where it might not be appropriate for you to deal with it in that moment. Maybe you're in the middle of a presentation. Maybe you're just, I don't know, any point where you just feel like unsafe to really work through those emotions, you're going to put them in your container. You can choose the color, you can choose the size, you can choose anything, however it looks. And I like to really visualize physically putting something in. So sometimes I feel like I'm putting this black liquid. Sometimes I feel like I'm putting like chunky green stuff in it. And all of this is just emotions that I haven't fully processed through. I'm going to put them away in a safe place. Again, I'm doing this by visualizing. I have my container. It's like a glass container. I put all of my stuff that I haven't resolved yet, and I just put it away in my cupboard and physically and metaphorically close the door. And then later, when I have the appropriate time and space to do that, I will go back into it and bring those emotions back out and actually continue them. We do this a lot in EMDR therapy because in this form of therapy often, you're not going to get through all the stuff you need to do in one single day. It's going to take multiple sessions. So in the meantime, rather than just having those emotions out in the world, you're going to contain them and then you're going to bring them back to work through again with your therapist. This is great if you need also just more time to deal with those emotions and maybe you have time for. And this is really, really helpful if you always come back to working on it. If you're doing this just with yourself, you're like, okay, I'm going to put this in my container, close the lid, put it away. You need to come back to that because the more that you just push away your feelings and don't come back to them, the more you're teaching yourself and your body to say, my emotions are so overwhelming that I literally don't want to deal with them. And that creates a really big form of resistance. It's going to come back in physical illnesses and yucky stuff just because you weren't wanting to go back into that yucky emotion and just for yourself, just move through that when you can. Smiling and affection for yourself. When you physically smile, like literally bring up your cheeks and smile, even if you're not feeling like it, this creates something very powerful. It's not like you're tricking yourself into being happy. Don't confuse a smile with always being happy. It's actually just like another technique that I was just talking about. It forces you to kind of pull your mind away from just your thoughts. And it again has you do something physical in order to actually move through that. Again, move through that in like the moment where it feels like it's life or death. For your affection towards yourself, you're gonna hug yourself, you're gonna kiss yourself, you're gonna touch your feet, you're gonna give them a massage. Anything that moves your body and makes you feel those physical sensations is wonderful. I always say we need to be touching people more. We need to be holding hands and hugging All of these things connect not only our minds, but our bodies to each other. And something really sad has happened where now we think that physical touch has to mean sexual touch, which it absolutely does not. Those are not one and the same thing. And of course, we need to be consensual and asking people, for hugs and stuff. But we just need to actually embrace the fact that humans were made to be in community and made to be next to each other, made to feel each other, to hug each other. It's such a beautiful and spiritual way of connecting with the people around you, not only in your thoughts, but literally with your physical bodies. Of course, here we also have deep breaths. There are so many techniques about breathing for 4 seconds, not 4 minutes, breathing for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, releasing for 6 seconds. There's so many techniques. I like to just take really big deep breaths, and I like to, when I release that and just exhale all of that air out of my body, I like to fully let my tummy out. Expand your belly as much as possible. That's how I am able to access my belly breaths. Just those extremely big, deep breaths that you can take, those really, really help a lot. Repetition is key. It's easy to just do these things when it's worst of the worst case scenario, but unless you have the habit of doing these things all of the time, it's going to be a lot harder to access. This is not a competition, at one point oh, I'm just going to have this down. This is lifelong work. This is you putting in hours for your meditation, for your spirituality, for connecting with your body, clearing your mind. Not just clearing your mind, I shouldn't say that, but just acknowledging your present thoughts, acknowledging your breath. Always coming back to that in different forms of meditation. With all of this, it's going to be so much easier if you do this on the good days too. That way it'll be a habit on the bad days when things are coming up and you just need these tools. Your mind will automatically go, I know that I have all of these tools in my back pocket that I've been practicing for the last year. So I'm going to use that right now when it's actually going to be really necessary that I use them for this tough moment. Today's takeaway is calm and peace are a practice. Again, this is 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 8 steps forward, 4 steps back. But you're constantly moving upward. You're constantly expanding. You're constantly coming back to yourself with repetition, with kindness, with love, with intention. Do you realize by you doing this, you're showing your body and your mind that you care for them, that you care about how they're feeling, you care about the emotions that are stuck in your body. You are willing to release things. This is a beautiful thing. I honestly feel like it brings you into unity and communion with yourself. You're able to actually understand yourself from the inside out, understand where emotions come from. You start becoming so much more aware as a human being, and it's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I've never done this kind of style video where I'm giving you tips and tricks and techniques that I've used, but I absolutely loved this. I hope that this helped. Definitely save this video for when you need it. And again, start practicing it now. Not only when you need it, but just throughout your life. Embedding these different techniques and forms of connecting with yourself and connecting with the earth really will bring so much life and satisfaction and peace. With all that being said, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.